Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Karen About Wrestling. I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and of course, excellent show tonight, as usual. But first, we've got to take care of some housekeeping, so I wanted to let you guys know to get all of your tickets and everything 365 Nation at 365prowrestling.com. If you're interested in maybe becoming a wrestler, you want to get in touch with the Pro Wrestling Academy, reach out to us on our socials, 365 Pro Wrestling. And of course, like, subscribe, leave a comment, maybe ask us some questions. Are there questions you have for some wrestlers? Are there questions you're just dying to know about wrestling itself? Send them in. We'll ask wrestlers when they're on the show. We love that. All right. So I'm very excited for my next guest. We've had him on the show once before, but it's always fun to have a ref on the show versus a wrestler and get that interesting different perspective. And of course, my next guest is like the OG of wrestling on Vancouver Island. Without further ado, Reffin.
Hey Karen, how's it going? Thanks for having me on again.
So excited to chat with you again. Last time we talked, it was right before our birthdays, if you recall.
I recall, yeah.
Yes. We both had big birthdays very close to each other. And I wanted to tell you actually an interesting fact that I found out. So my birthday is September 9th. I believe yours is in August, right? At the end of August?
August 30th, yes.
August 30th, right. So what I found out is September 9th is actually the most popular birthday in North America.
Oh, wow.
Like more people are born on September 9th than any other day.
Wow, we're close to good company then.
I know, right? So I just thought I'd mention that because of course we have this like birthday connection, and I just thought it was an interesting little fact. And if there's anything I love, it's an interesting little fact, and I love to share that. So all right, but all that silliness aside, I really wanted to chat with you because since the last time we talked, I feel like so much has happened for you in the wrestling world that goes way beyond being a ref, right? So can you catch the audience up on what exactly has been going on with you for the last few months?
Well, it's definitely been a crazy 2025 for me so far. I started the year off with, I had a little bit of a run-in with Josh Cadwell, and he ended up challenging me to a fight. So smart or not, I accepted that challenge. It turned out it ended up being a championship match, and against all odds, I ended up winning the combat championship that night.
Wow. So you walked away with a belt that night.
I did.
How did that feel?
Well, it's really a childhood dream come true, I guess you would say, especially for a referee who thinks he's never going to get that chance. Uh, I didn't go into it looking for that. I went into it to defend myself and stand up to a bully and, show my kids what's right. But I ended up, achieving a dream at the same time. So it was definitely a night I'll never forget.
I'm so happy for you. And so, are you still in possession of said belt?
I am not.
What happened?
What happened? Well, I really I wondered to myself how far I could go with it. Could I make a run with this? But in the end, I just decided, I'm too important as a referee to abandon that and chase this other dream. And on top of that, I couldn't really do both at the same time because the optics wouldn't be very good, right? So, I had a long talk with Commissioner Legacy, and we decided it would probably be better if I put the belt aside and resumed my refereeing career. And so that's what I did. So at a show in Cedar recently, I put the belt up for grabs and ended up being won by Zach Andrews.
Interesting. So
Became the new champion.
yeah, well, that's okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. So you didn't lose the belt in a match. You gave it up voluntarily. Is
That's
in
right.
in favor of you recognize that you are a ref and you want to be a ref and you want to continue to be a ref and not so much a
Yeah.
wrestler, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Undefeated champion.
love that. Love that. Love that. So tell me about the match that was fought for Zach to win that belt.
Well, for Zach to win the belt. So, it was a match between Zach Andrews and Rad Dad, and neither of them knew that it was going to be for a championship. I surprised the both of them. When
Oh,
I came out to referee the match. I brought my championship belt with me, and I held it up and said, "One of you are going to win this tonight." And
wow.
it was a shock to both of them. And Zach ended up winning it for his first ever singles championship. So
Was it a
congratulations.
straight up match, like, or was it some kind of
Nope,
crazy
it's just
match?
a regular straight up match. Yep.
Just
Yeah.
mono a mono, no weapons, no ladders, no
No,
craziness, no
no
staple gun.
craziness. Just the
Yeah,
usual craziness of a regular match. Yeah.
fair. Yeah, yeah. The regular stuff you find at 365, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure.
So, how many days did you actually hold that belt for?
It was about 3 months. Yeah.
Excellent.
Like 80 or 90 days, I would say.
I love that. And so, obviously, an unexpected turn of events for you too, to all of a sudden find yourself with this belt around your waist. Have you ever held a belt before?
Well, in 2018, I won when 365 was still called Pure Wrestling Association. I had a cup of coffee with their Pure Violence Championship. I won that for a few hours,
Okay.
and but other than that, no, no, not in 365. No, just doing the backyard wrestling. I won a few, but this is it. This is my high spot for me.
I love that. So that was actually my next question is like, do you consider this like the career highlight for you?
Oh, without a doubt,
No doubt. So
without a doubt.
tell me about like the crowd when that happened. Like when you won a belt, did the crowd just go absolutely bonkers?
Oh, they did, and the thing was that the match was in my hometown in Courtenay, and I ended up having probably 100 supporters came out that had never come to a show before. Uh, hockey buddies, family, friends, all came out to support me. To stand up to a bully. But I don't think anybody really thought I was ever going to win. But their spirit and their cheering urged me on to victory. I guess you could say.
I love that. And so me and Josh have a bit of an adversarial relationship ourselves. And so I can understand how like you probably felt that you had no choice but to go head to head with him and like take care of that situation. He's been a bit of a bully to me too, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Go, yeah. Go back and watch like the first episode of Karen About Wrestling. You're gonna see Josh bullying me hardcore. It's
Mm.
so I feel like you maybe like took care of my bully in a way, you know? Um, interestingly enough, Josh hasn't been back on the show, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe he's scared to come back
Oh,
on my show. Now that
it
I'm
could
a
be.
year and a half into my show, I was a rookie back then. I was green, I didn't know anything, and he just came in and he was like, "Rah."
Yeah,
But
he's probably afraid you'll bring this up, and it'd be really embarrassing for him. And I
it
can't, I can't doubt that.
well, I'm putting the call out, Josh. I'd like to have you back on the show. Don't disappoint me.
Come on, Josh, get on there.
Right? Right? What are you scared? Anyway, I never get the chance to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you for indulging that. So I wanted to ask you, I have this like new question for my 2025 question pack. And I think it's a good one. So what would your 10-year-old self think about the fact that you just won like a wrestling championship and that you're a ref? Like, what would your 10-year-old self think of that?
what would my 10-year-old self think? Well, yeah, at 10 years old, I had never even watched wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, no, I was late into it. I didn't get into it until my 20s. So my 10-year-old self would probably not know what the heck I was talking
I can just picture your 10-year-old self with just this like look of like, what is going on?
Yeah. I knew what wrestling was, but I was a hockey kid. I wasn't into anything else, but
Yeah, no,
probably
that's
be shocked,
fair. That's
shocked
fair.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's ask then what advice would you give that 10-year-old self if you could go back in time?
Well, considering how my year's gone so far, I would say just keep chasing your dreams, kid, because anything can come true. Anything can happen if you make it. If you work hard enough and you make it work, make it your goal, and keep going for it. Anything can happen.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Yeah, you're living proof of that. I just I can't tell you how much I loved seeing that on Facebook that you would want a belt. Like I was so overjoyed. I was like, this what? Like how did that happen? I need to know all the details. So yeah, I mean, that's
Shocked a
great
lot of
advice.
people.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm sure it shocked a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But also then it was like, no, that makes sense. There's also that moment, like, yeah, I mean, if anybody should have a belt, it should be OG Tim for sure.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So, how do you like, I mean, you've been at the game a while now, right? You've seen a few turns around the turns around the sun for sure. So, what like what motivates you at this point with respect to wrestling? Like what keeps you motivated and interested?
What keeps me motivated? Well, I've been doing it so long now. I just don't want to. I don't want to quit, and I'm getting older, and I want to enjoy every minute of it I can. While I can do it,
Yeah.
and also I really love working with the new wrestlers, the trainees from the Pro Wrestling Academy, and the younger guys and girls who are just coming up. The future of the business. I really it motivates me watching them, you know, begin the process of living out their dreams and getting to be a part of that and maybe help a little bit with that too. Uh, so I really enjoy that part of it as well.
I love that so much. So let's take a moment to talk about the trainees because what a great crop of trainees we've got coming up right now. So from
Yeah.
Catlin to Bella Valentine, Kasha, um, Garrett, Jarrett. There's a lot
Yeah.
of them, right?
DJ Cash.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, Cash, exactly, Cassius. Yeah. So um, I mean, it must be inspiring seeing how like excited they are doing their first matches. You must be reffing a few of their first matches, right?
Sure did. Sure did. And yeah, just getting to live those moments with them. Their nervousness, the training, endless training, the hard work they put in, and then trying to do their best and learn. It's an amazing thing to watch, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're so like excited to just be starting on their wrestling journey and they're excited to learn and they're just very motivated and disciplined too. I mean, they're going every week to training, they're training in between, they're doing all the things they need to do to like be like their heroes, like Inferno, like Legacy, like Black Siddhartha, whoever it happens to be that they're looking up to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
The work never stops. It's just different steps along the path.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love like seeing all of their characters develop too and like who they're going to be as wrestlers, and figuring out like their finishing move and all that good stuff. I just it's just it's so awesome to watch them at this part of
Yeah.
their journey. And yeah, and you're helping and you're teaching them, right? Like I mean,
In my
you're helping
small
them
way,
learn.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
no,
am.
you absolutely are. You absolutely are. And everybody has a lot of respect for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
You definitely have a lot to offer. But so let me we got to take a little commercial break. That's the way this goes. But that first 15 minutes went really fast. So don't go anywhere, Tim. And you guys don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Karen About Wrestling and Ref Tim. And we are back. You guys are watching Karen About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and my guest tonight is Ref Tim. So, Tim, I wanted to talk to you a bit about, we were just talking about kind of what motivates you. But what I wanted to talk about is like, you just want a belt, which is huge, but like, what do you want to accomplish by this time next year in terms of wrestling?
Oh,
Do you have
wow.
any big wrestling dreams?
Yeah. Boy, you never know. You never know what could happen.
I
Um,
know.
I think in the next year, it would be cool if I could maybe have another match or two, if the situation, you know, required it, and and I had to stand up for myself again.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind beating somebody up again. That would be fun. Uh,
Is there anybody that you have an eye on? Anybody who's maybe crossed you in the ring as a ref that you might wanna, you know?
well, there's always every night there's somebody that's pushing me in the ring. It's just a matter of how long can I hold on to my emotions before I end up, Ref Tim can snap sometimes, and then bad things happen. So,
Yeah.
just has to be somebody pushing me the wrong way on the wrong night, and then anything could happen.
So my guess is like somebody like Ramon Carlton, because I feel like he's a wrestler, but he's also been a manager, and I feel like he's had some shenanigans ringside. Him and Lack have taken some liberties, I'd say.
Well,
Is Ramon somebody that what's that?
Lack certainly has. Ramon's been pretty good at not getting physical with me. I think at some point, if he ever did, you never know what could happen.
This is true. Yeah. Okay. So maybe Lack. Well, I mean, who wants to go after Lack? Don't recommend that.
No, I mean, I tried to go after Lack once, and I ended up being choke slammed onto a ring covered with thumbtacks. So I
I
learned my lesson on that one.
Yeah, I remember that match. Yeah, that was pretty tragic for sure. So yeah, maybe Lack's not the right. But there's a few like maybe Devin with his wrench. Like maybe you
Devin's
and
messed with me a lot of times, made me look bad a few times. Uh,
right.
one thing I think I'd really like to do one day is I want to tag team with Ref Ronnie. Yeah. I think we need a referee tag team, even if it's just for one night. I think we need referees need to get together in the union and stand up for ourselves and have a match with somebody. I think
I'm
that would be pretty special.
I'm writing that down because that's a great idea, Tim. That's a
The Deep
fantastic
Rose,
idea.
maybe.
Yeah. So who would you want to what tag team would you want to go up against, you and Ronnie?
Oh, we'll see what happens when the time comes. I don't know. Maybe the champions at the time would be good. You
Okay.
know?
Okay, but you don't have your sights set on anybody. You're not like, "Oh, I'd really like to get in the ring with that team," or "I'd really like to beat up that guy."
No,
No,
nobody
you're
in
not
mind. I still try to be impartial and not. I would never want to be seen to be targeting anybody, but
that's fair.
there's teams that sometimes get a little physical with me, and you never know what could happen. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, that's very true. I just had an interview with Johnny Roston, and I thought maybe the Momies, the Moment of Truth, might be the tag team that you go
It
up
could
against.
be. They
Yeah,
mess
you
with me
never
all
know.
the time.
I know, right? They definitely, yeah, they've been known for some hijinks at ringside for sure, right? Hijinks at
I
ringside. That's the name of our next movie, Hijinks at Ringside. Okay. So as a ref, and as a part-time wrestler, I guess, injuries. Have you suffered any injuries in the last year or so that you're recovering from, or?
yeah, well, I mean, I'm 50 now, so everything hurts now, but the- yeah, I've got feet problems and elbow problems and back problems, but I never let it stop me. I always show up and do my best, no matter how I'm feeling.
That's
It's just
that's great advice. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Well, good.
ingrained in the wrestling business and in hockey too. You tough it out and you get through it, and do the best
So
you
true.
can. So
Yeah,
that's
so
how I
true.
always approach to my career is I'll be there unless I'm on crutches or in a wheelchair. I'll be there and I'll do my best.
And you're right though. I think that's definitely like the mentality for a lot of the wrestlers, even the injured ones. They're still trying to like, well, look at Becky Beach breaking her like leg in the ring and then continuing on with the match and then carrying a human being over her shoulder backstage on a broken leg. So
I
wrestlers
know
are hardcore. Like
they're a very rare breed of tough. Uh,
absolutely they are. So yeah.
Determination and tough and strong and that's why
Yeah.
they're so well loved with the fans.
Absolutely. So even if they have a big injury, which let's face it, a lot of the wrestlers have suffered injuries in the last little while, but they find ways to come back from that. And they find ways to stay involved in wrestling in the meantime, right? So I'm thinking specifically of Haviko and Nolan James, right? So both on the injured list, but both now transitioned to live commentary at the shows, which is going really well. And it's a really
Mhm.
like bonus and added value to those videos, I think for sure.
Absolutely. Considering how they sometimes hate each other, they do a great job.
Right, right. And so if you guys haven't seen the episode, go back a few weeks and I actually interviewed Haviko and Nolan James together. We did some therapy. We had some tears might have been shed, Check it out. Check it's a good episode. Just a little bit of a tear jerker, but
Uh, I don't know if it stuck because I was in a show with them on Saturday night where they ended up fighting all over the arena. So
my work has been undone. I can't believe it.
uh,
Devastated.
sometimes friends have to have an argument and then they'll be friends again. It's
I'll be
a
honest.
circle
I
of
feel
life.
like yeah, I feel like there was I feel like we were just scratching the surface from the therapy perspective, from the couples therapy perspective. We were just scratching the surface really, that night. We only had an hour, that's
Yeah, nobody's ever cured in one session.
no. It's so true. It's so true. There's work involved, you guys. Like you got to really want it, right? You got to really want it. So honestly, that's about a lot of things in life, I think. So let's talk a little bit about, let's go back a little bit. So for those who didn't see your first episode, can you tell us a little bit about kind of how you mentioned like you started out not as a wrestler but as a hockey player. How did you kind of transition into wrestling? What was that story all about?
Well, it's a very different story. When the professional companies would come to Courtney, myself and some coworkers would always go to the shows and had a blast. We got to see very young Eddie Osborns and Cremators perform in the beginning of their careers, and we had a great time. And then our company started a charity, a children's charity. We're a big national company, and they were having a contest. They wanted to see best fundraising ideas for this new charity, and the winners were supposed to get a big story in a national magazine. So a bunch of us who were managers at this branch said, let's do a wrestling fundraiser. Because we had more money than brains, right? So we went out and we pitched in and bought a ring and took some training, and we decided to put on a wrestling show to raise money for this charity, and that's how we got into wrestling. And we did that for a few years. We raised about $5,000 for charity over a few years, and
Wow.
so that was a great time. And then in 2013, when PWA decided to open up operations here on the island, and then also the IPW opened up around the same time, I decided to take some referee training and got involved with them, and I just never stopped right from day one.
The rest is history.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique story of how to get into the wrestling business.
I love that actually. And it is, you're right, it is a unique story. I found like the common story, at least in the wrestlers that I've interviewed up to this point, is like they were driving down the road and they saw a sign that said Pro Wrestling Academy and they just like pulled over and wrote down the number or whatever, and the next thing they know, they were training. So I feel like your story is definitely unique from that perspective. Because you weren't even actually like seeking out wrestling necessarily. Like it was just sort of
No,
wrestling happened to you.
we 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 loved watching it, but then yeah, we got into it unexpectedly, and
Yeah.
we really had a great time doing it.
And then you went from like getting into something unexpectedly to like literally all in, right? Like you've got a ring. You've been doing it for how many years, Tim?
Refereeing now, I started in 2013.
Yeah, so a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. And again, it's super inspiring to the folks that are just kind of coming up now, like you can have a very long career in wrestling. You can, right?
Yeah, you can yeah, you can go for a long time if you stay healthy and you stick with it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm excited with all these the young ones coming up now to see like just they're just at the beginning of their career. I was there's actually a great clip of Bella Valentine and Becky Beach that I think has actually gone viral. I think Becky told me the clip was at like 250,000 views or something crazy like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's a great clip of, if you guys don't know him, to just Bella Valentine and Becky Beach, just Google that right now. Well, maybe not right now, but like after the show, and like check that out because it's a great clip, and it really shows like the ladies of pro wrestling, because that's kind of a thing too, right? Like we think of it as kind of a traditionally male sport, right? And certainly most of the people participating in it are dudes, but like there's also a lot of like women and non-binary people who are involved as well, and I just love that it's kind of an equal opportunity sport from that perspective, especially 365.
Oh, yeah, wrestling is for everybody, and, you'll see the, women fighting men and beating them as well, like, anything can happen, right?
Absolutely, and yeah, they're just they're super talented. Again, we think of like just sort of these big hulking dudes and that sort of thing, but like when you're watching like people of all body types and sizes, like Little Inferno, he's flying around, he's beating up big guys. It's like, yeah. I was just talking to Johnny and he was saying it's like the island of misfit toys a little bit. We're all like, a little
It fits.
right, right. Everybody's a little bit weird, but we're all weird together, and then we make this thing called pro wrestling. So yeah,
That's right. Yeah, it's all about using what your advantages are and making the most of them.
100%, for sure.
You don't have to be the
So
biggest or the fastest. You just have to use what you've got.
yeah, just use what you got. Absolutely, yeah. And it's great because yeah, like in my experience watching traditional kind of WWF wrestling, like back in the 80s, like all the dudes were massive guys, right? And now you're seeing a lot more people that aren't just like that one type of body. And like you said, it's just for everybody. And I agree, and I love that about this for sure.
Yeah, it's great to see a nice variety of characters and people in the business now. There's not all cookie cutter, you know, giant against giant anymore. There's lots of stories to tell with all kinds of different personalities and sizes and shapes and colors and
Everything.
yeah, absolutely.
Love it, love it. Actually, I just heard too that 365 is going to be in the Victoria Pride Parade this year. So
I read that. Yeah,
Isn't
fantastic.
that exciting?
Yeah.
I love that so much. So I just wanted to ask you quickly too. There's a lot of crazy matches that happen at 365. You've refed some of them. You've observed many more in your time. Um, what is like the absolute craziest match you've ever refed?
Well, I don't have to reach too far back for this one. I would say the night of violence we had last year at the White Eagle Polish Hall in Victoria
Yeah.
was something else. That was, I've refereed hardcore matches before, but I've never had to referee with goggles before. It was that that was a show to behold for sure.
That was, and actually that particular match, Night of Violence, that hardcore match comes up on almost every one of my episodes because
Oh yeah.
it was one of the craziest things I have personally ever seen in my life. So I'm with you, and having to actually be in the ring and repping that, that's yeah, I hats off to you because you're way braver than me. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
It was a little
All right,
dangerous.
but believe it or not, we got to take another commercial break.
Oh, okay.
Crazy, right? We're just getting going. So don't you guys go anywhere. We are going to be right back with more Karen About Wrestling and Ref Tim. And we are back. You are watching Karen About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. We love it. All right, my guest is Ref Tim tonight. So, Ref Tim, we've been talking a lot about wrestling, so I thought maybe we could chat a little bit about not some non-wrestling things. Although wrestling does tend to seep into this segment from time to time also because let's face it, wrestling people are like all about the wrestling. So
Yeah,
it's like everything you talk about somehow involves wrestling. But
it all circles back.
exactly. So I know that you play a lot of hockey. We've already talked a bit about that. And I believe you're on a team called the Dump Bears. Is that the correct name?
That's right. The dump bears.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic name, by the way. So tell us a bit about what's going on with your hockey team. Are you winning lots of games?
Well, yeah, we do. We just lost in the championship final. We would have won. It would have been our fifth consecutive championship, but we lost in the championship game. But we went on to win our next tournament after, so we still feel good.
Okay, okay. Right, right. So, and what position do you play?
Left wing,
Left wing. I like that. I
gritty
like that.
forward.
Yeah. And so, do you score a lot of goals?
Not this year.
No, but traditionally, you're a goal scorer.
I get a lot of assists. I'm more of a
Fair.
playmaking guy, so
That's
uh,
fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. And everybody has to have their role, right? That's it's
yeah,
important. An assist is as good as a goal, in my opinion.
yeah.
You contributed. You participated, as Becky Beach would say.
Participated. Becky would be proud. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't really follow a lot of hockey. I'm not really a hockey gal. I used to be, but now I'm more about the wrestling. But regardless, Wayne Gretzky's record just got broken, right?
Yeah, sure
Like,
did.
but was it?
Ovechkin, Alex Ovechkin. Yeah.
Yes. So that was a long-standing record.
Yeah, that's one of those records you never thought would be broken, but I guess all records are going to be broken eventually. So
Eventually,
at
yeah.
least we got to see it in our lifetime.
Yeah, yeah, but Ovechkin's been around like forever too, right? So obviously he's had a lot of time to rack up all those goals.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's been around.
yeah, for sure. So funny story. The McDonald's that I go to get my latte for every show, the kid that serves me is named Gretzky.
At first name.
First
First
name.
name.
Yeah.
First name is Gretzky. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Bold.
I can't say I've heard of that, but that's pretty
Kind of pretty
cool.
unique, right? I'm like, I wanted to ask him how he feels about it, but you're in the drive-through. It's maybe not really the appropriate time. Maybe I'll have him as a guest on the show and we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, so besides wrestling and hockey, what else do you do, Tim, to keep yourself occupied?
Uh, Not much. I don't have a lot of time, so I had to narrow my hobby list down to 2. Uh,
That's
you
fair.
know, other than, in the summer, I like to get away and go out into the wilderness and hike and explore. But other than that, it's hockey and wrestling work. Hockey, wrestling, work. That's my life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's important to keep your focus, I think, on, if you have too broad. I think I read somewhere like if you have more than five priorities, you have no priorities, right?
That makes sense.
Right? Yeah. Spreading yourself too thin is never a good thing. Okay. So if you could travel anywhere in the world, money's not an object, time isn't an object. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh, wow, tough question.
I know, right?
This It's probably going to sound lame, but I'm going to say probably the Maritimes, Canadian Maritime, because I have a lot of Acadian relatives and ancestors back there. I've never been able to go back there and explore my roots, so that would probably be high on my list is to go to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and explore my ancestry. That would probably be pretty cool.
I That's fantastic. So have you traveled to Eastern Canada before? Is this
I spent a little bit of time living in Val-d'Or, Quebec, but that's as far as well. I've been to Montreal. I guess it's probably the furthest I've been. So
right?
uh, it would be
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, the Maritimes are so beautiful, like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Obviously, PEI and Newfoundland are just like a whole other world, quite frankly. Um,
That's what I hear.
yeah, yeah, but also island folks. So I feel like there's some we'll have some common, you know,
Yeah.
stuff to talk about, being from an island and all of
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
an amazing place. I hear.
absolutely. Well, I hope if you do go on that journey that maybe we can schedule a Karen about wrestling episode while you're there so we can catch up on all your travel
Sure.
stories. And yeah,
Yeah,
like
that'd
that
be
was,
amazing.
yeah. Okay, so that's travel. What about food? So if you could only eat like one food for the rest of your life,
Oh wow.
what would it be?
One food. Oh, I wouldn't even know what to pick.
It's
White
hard.
chocolate.
Did you say white chocolate?
Something chocolate.
Oh, just chocolate.
Just chocolate in general.
I think that's good. I think that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I think that's good. I was just talking to Johnny Roston, and he fried chicken was his answer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, right. He was eating fried chicken while he said it, so I don't know if I completely believe him, but
It was just top of mind at the time.
exactly. He's like, yeah, fried chicken, sure, whatever. Stop asking me stupid questions, Karen.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with chocolate because that's first thing that
I
popped in my mind.
I like that. So, in terms of chocolate, let's explore chocolate a little bit.
Okay.
I like talking
No
about
problem.
food. So are you more like a milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, spicy chocolate, chocolate with nuts? Like what kind of chocolate are you into?
Oh, probably milk.
Milk, yeah, like
Yeah.
a good Aero bar.
Well, I'm thinking more like chocolate cakes, chocolate, that kind of thing. Chocolate
Okay.
ice cream, you know, not
Okay.
chocolate bars per se.
Okay. Okay. No, I like where you're going. I like where you're going. Like a chocolate pie, like a chocolate mousse.
Yeah, all of the above. You can't.
And Easter's coming up. So is there a particular Easter chocolate that you love?
Oh, probably, but I haven't been able to enjoy them for a while. Not good for the tummy.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. But chocolate cake is amazing. I have a chocolate brownie in my fridge right now that's dying to be eaten. So I might be doing
Nice.
that tonight when I get home. Probably not a great idea, but yeah. Okay, so you mentioned, of course, you're a very busy guy. You know, wrestling, work, hockey, family, all that you got going on. Do you watch any television at all or movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much time for movies. I watch a lot of TV. I
Do you
basically
have
stick
like
to.
Yeah, do you have like an emotional support TV show that you're into?
Yeah, I like '90s comedies.
Excellent.
So,
Anything in particular that you're watching right now?
there's always reruns of something good on that always cheers my mood up. Married with Children or Seinfeld or Big Bang Theory. Any lots of good shows out there from that time.
So true. So true. What about Friends? Do you like Friends? Are you into that?
It's okay. I
Yeah.
watch
My
it
favorite
sometimes.
either. Yeah.
Not in the top 10, but it's all right.
Yeah. It'll do. It'll do in a pinch, eh?
Yeah, exactly. My daughter
Nice.
likes it, so I'll watch it with her sometime.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So let's talk a little bit about where you live, which is up island from Victoria, a bit of the way you're in Courtney, correct?
Yeah, right on the border between Courtney and Comox. Yeah.
I was just in Courtney Comox this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, went into downtown Courtney and did a little shopping, did a little too much shopping, some might say, supporting the local economy, as it were.
Good. Good.
Lots of wrestling shows in Courtney and Comox, which is great. So you must be happy you just like kind of drive home at the end of it, eh? Like,
Yeah, that's the one town we do that I don't have a long drive home. So
yeah,
I love those shows for sure.
yeah, for sure. So, what is your favorite thing about living in Courtney?
Wow. I think it's a great place because it's so close to everything you could want to do. They got the ski hills an hour one way. The ocean, the beaches are everywhere. There's camping and trails and the ocean, and it's just so close to anything you might want to do outdoors that it's kind of central to everything. I'd say that's what's best about it for sure.
Yeah, it's so beautiful there. Like, and the drive from Victoria to Comox, even though it takes so long, especially like Victoria to Nanaimo takes like
Yeah,
forever, but
yeah.
it's so beautiful. You don't even really think about the fact that you're like crawling along at 60 kilometers an hour.
Well, if you do it every weekend, you think about it a lot. But yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's totally fair.
But yeah, if
That's
you're just
awesome.
sightseeing, then yeah, it's great.
So I wanted to ask you quickly because last time you were on the show, I wanted to ask you this question and I didn't get a chance or I forgot because whatever. Um, were you ever an extra in any television shows?
Um, I was on a kind of Star Trek show in 1989. um, that was a funny story for sure.
Can you share it? I'm dying
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah, for sure. It was 1989, I think it was, and we did like a family trip to Los Angeles, and we were taking studio tours and watching tapings of different uh, shows that were on at the time. We saw a taping of Newhart. I think we saw an episode of Family Feud live, just for the fun of it because we were there. And yeah, they were taping four little short movies of Star Trek at a studio, and they were using regular people as extras. Um, so we found out about it as we were there. So my sister and I just kind of lined up with 1,000 other people, screaming, hoping to get picked, and we both got picked to be in that. So I got a very short role as the helmsman of the Enterprise. So that was cool experience. Yeah,
Oh my god, I love that so much. So you actually got to like wear the shirt and like sit at
yeah.
the
I was in the fancy red uniform. I sat at the helm on the actual set, and we filmed a little sequence where the Klingons shot us with their phasers, and we had the smoke going off and sparks, and I was going side to side to side, like the ship was getting rattled around, and just like that, I was gone. Sulu took my spot.
Fair, fair. You are also wearing a red shirt, as you said, so maybe that
Yeah. Well, they all were red at that time, so
fair. So let me ask you, so is this like available to view anywhere? Like if a person wanted to see this, could somebody do that?
I think it was shown once and then never again. We were all given a Betamax copy of it.
A
All,
Betamax.
yeah, yeah. All of us who were in it were given a Betamax copy, which I still have in the garage somewhere, I think. But I've never seen it on TV or YouTube or anything.
Wow.
I do have pictures of it that my parents took from the audience in the studio. But
That
uh,
is epic. So, okay, well, we're gonna have to arrange a viewing party. Just, you know, because I think we need to find a Betamax machine. We need to make some arrangements because I need to see this, Tim. Like I need to experience.
it,
I'm jealous, is what it is. I'm dying with jealousy that you got to be on a Star Trek
it,
episode, right?
they were
But
made to be funny, not serious. So.
fair enough. But still, so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was
Yeah.
different.
All right. So we are at the end of our interview, if you can believe it, Tim. But
Oh wow,
I do have some lightning round questions for you.
sure.
So just first answer that comes to your mind, like just blurt it out. This is very Freudian. All right, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Optimist or pessimist?
Uh, pessimist probably.
Fair, fair. Favorite board game?
Ooh. I have about 50
Oh,
board games, so I'm trying to narrow it down. Trivial Pursuit, I guess, is probably a good one.
love some trivia. Coffee or tea?
I don't drink either.
Oh, okay. Favorite snack food?
Uh,
Chocolate. We already talked about that.
pork rinds is what I eat these days.
It's-
Yeah. Ugh.
Nobody has ever said pork rinds. Okay.
I don't really like them, but there's no carbs, so I.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going. All right. Favorite smell? Please don't say pork rinds.
Favorite smell? Oh, just anything cooking in the oven.
Love that. Favorite color?
Uh, a tie between green and purple, I think.
Cool, cool. Ramon approves. Favorite animal?
Oh, zebra, of course.
Ooh, nobody's ever said zebra. Apples or bananas?
Apples.
Cilantro,
Green.
yes or no?
I like cilantro.
Cool. Talking or texting?
Uh, I'll text.
Okay, okay. Favorite day of the week?
Oh, well, it's got to be Saturday because there's always a wrestling show.
Wrestling on Saturdays. Get your tickets at 365prowrestling.com. Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
Excellent. Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
Uh, I like to play it safe. I'll ask permission.
As I would expect, as I would expect. Cake or pie?
Cake.
And your favorite number?
11.
Excellent. Good, good, good. All right. So if anybody wants to reach out to you or get in touch on social media, how would they do that?
I'm only on Facebook, so you can look up Tim Chaisson on Facebook, and you'll get me there.
Excellent. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you had a good time, Ref Tim.
I had a great time. It just flew by.
It really did, didn't it? Yeah. Well, we would love to have you back again. I have many more questions to ask, and we have a viewing party to plan, apparently. So,
Yep.
we should
Okay. I'll start rooting through the garage right away.
definitely get on that. Get on that. All right. Thanks so much again, Rough Tim. You've been an excellent guest, and thank you guys for joining us for another edition of Karen About Wrestling. See you next time.
Bye.